Let me take you back a little bit too. You mentioned what you'd read about in newspapers. What newspapers did you read then, high
When I was a
school
kid?
age, when you were a kid?
The
In addition to
Daily
the ones you
News and the
produced
Star
yourself,
Ledger.
the Star Ledger.
The
What
Star
about?
Ledger and the Daily, no, and in Newark Evening News. It was my father would bring home the Newark Evening News, you know, because he was a postman, and he would come in and he'd have the paper under his arm, and I went up to the paper. My son does the same thing to me. My oldest son does the same thing to me. If I have a newspaper when I come in, he'll come up and get it and read it. You know, I guess they all do that. But the Daily News you read in the morning. And the Ledger, one or the other.
Yeah.
And the Evening News, but never the New York Times and New York. The Daily News was the paper, and the Ledger and the.
What about black papers? The Courier,
They
Pittsburgh.
read, yes, they read, of course,
The Afro.
They read the Afro-American. They read the Pittsburgh Courier. They read the. There was another black newspaper in town, and then there were some weird black newspapers. You know, like there was one black newspaper that just told gossip. You know, and they would tell you the Shadow has been watching HJ and DS in Jersey City, and they better stop that. And I loved that, you know, because it was pure gossip. But I guess the best one of those newspapers was the Newark Evening News that my father brought on. I was like a paper that styled itself more like the New York Times, but it came out in the afternoon. The Daily News was the morning newspaper, which, as it turned out, had the most influence. I always taught the Daily News in school because I taught their style, you know, because they had very backward content. But both of those tabloids, the Daily News and the Post, were opposite ideologically. But I used to teach that when I was teaching writing courses, that this is what you call sensationalism. What do you mean by sensationalism? You mean a style of journalism that depends on your sensations, you know, that goes to quick emotional kind of, you know, raise, you know. And sometimes you wish the papers that were a little more thoughtful had a little more of that kind of sensationalism about the truth. You know, I mean, the New York Post and the Daily News have this sensationalism, which is absolutely full of lies. You know, absolutely sham. You know.